Okay, so thanks so much for joining me today. I'm Lee Klein. This is Vision Eternity Ministries, and we are continuing to get ready for Jesus. One thing that he said when he was here, he said, "When I come, will I find faith on the earth?" And we're going to talk about what he meant by that. Jesus, we thank you. We acknowledge you. We just worship you. We thank you that you are consistently preparing us for your return so that we can be ready, so that you can say, "Well done, thy good and faithful servant," so that we can say we believed. We love you and praise you, give you all the glory. And so Jesus told a parable in Luke 18. I'm going to read it to you. Jesus told them a story showing that it was necessary for them to pray consistently and never quit. He said there was once a judge in some city who never gave God a thought and cared nothing for the people. A widow in the city kept after him. "My rights are being violated. Protect me." He never gave her the time of day. "I care nothing what God thinks, even less what people think. But because this widow won't quit badgering me, I'd better do something and see that she gets justice." But after this went on and on, he said to himself, "Otherwise, I'm going to end up beaten black and blue by her pounding." Then the master said, "Do you hear what that judge, corrupt as he is saying? So it makes you think God won't step in and work justice for his chosen people who continue to cry out for help. Won't he stick up for them? I assure you he will. He will not drag his feet. But how much of that kind of persistent faith will the Son of Man find on the earth when he gets here?" So what Jesus is saying to us today is, when I get here, will there be anyone here? A lot of things, actually. He was speaking to me that is really expecting me. Did you get ready? Were you consistently praying? He said, "Watch and pray." Right? He said it's going to be like in the day of Noah. You're not going to be ready if you're not watching and praying. He's saying, when I get here, will you have watched and prayed? That's a word that he's giving me to say to you today. Did you watch and pray? Are you ready? Have you any idea what I was thinking? Were you on the same page as me? Or will I have to say, "Away from me, I never knew you, you who practice lawlessness"? Because you're not going to know his law if you're not persistently, constantly looking to him and praying. And what he means by praying is asking, talking, communicating with him. That's what he's saying. Communicate with me. Let me show you. Let me tell you. Let me tell you things to come. He's so in love with us, and because we're not persistent, because we give up easily, which is what we talked about yesterday. Don't give up. But because we're like that, we don't see the promises. Just because we don't see it right away with our eyes, we don't feel it, we can't touch it, doesn't mean he's not going to do what he said he's going to do. And he was comparing himself to this master that didn't care. Certainly, if he who doesn't care is going to take care of this woman, I'm going to take care of you. And I'm not going to drag my feet. But you got to be persistent, and persistent means faith. Will I find persistence when I get here on the earth? That's what he's saying to you today and to me. Persistence. Constant. Persistently asking, talking to him, looking at the word, hearing the word. Faith comes by hearing the word. So persistently getting that word in your heart so that you can persistently believe. Constantly, persistently call those things to be not as though they were. Believe by his stripes I was healed instead of running to the doctor. Instead of going off somewhere else. Because you're not persistent, you end up going to the doctor. And it's a good thing we have doctors because of our littleness of faith. But the point that Jesus wants to say today is, if you were persistent in seeking me and believing me, if you weren't distracted, if you weren't taking care of the thing yourself, then you would see that thing that you're looking for come to pass. The same as if you're persistently waiting for me, looking for me, asking me, what do I have to do to have eternal life? If you're persistent in that, then you're going to be ready when I get here. But if you're not going to be ready. If you're not going to be ready. Because you aren't going to be spending this time getting ready. Just like if you're getting ready for your wedding. You never went and did all the preparations or got the dress. You didn't send out invitations. But then the wedding date was tomorrow. You aren't going to be ready. So, Jesus is saying, faith comes by hearing the word. When you look at the word, when you hear him speak to you, you're going to have faith. You're going to have faith to believe the promise that he's promising to you. And you're going to have faith to believe that he's coming. And when you have faith, you have actions to your faith. Because you don't know what you have to do to have eternal life. Because you didn't ask. Then you're not going to be ready. But if you do believe, you're going to be asking every day, when are you coming? What do I need to do to have eternal life? Am I ready yet? What would you like me to do? How can I be a part of your life? How can I help prepare the way for you? Your actions are going to be different. If you really believe that he's coming. A lot of people say, well, he's not coming in my lifetime. You don't know that. He may. Well, I'm ready. How do you know that? If you are ready, then you'd be getting ready. If you are ready, then you would be perfect. We're not ready, but we're too prideful to even admit that we're not. And Jesus is beckoning us to hear him today.